PolitiFact is looking at President Trump's recent claims, saying a U.S. senator who announced he is not running for re-election has essentially quit the job and is no longer a U.S. senator. We're talking about Republican Senator Thom Tillis of North Carolina, who is going to play a major role in selecting the next chairman of the Federal Reserve, but has said he won't take part in any confirmation vote until the legal issues that currently surround the Fed are resolved. You see, the Department of Justice is investigating the cost of the Fed headquarters renovation. That is a move that some critics say is politically motivated. So let's dig into all of this with Lou Jacobson, our partner at PolitiFact, who looked into this very question for us. Lou, I want to point out, here in New Hampshire, we also have a Senator Jeanne Shaheen, who's retiring in 2027. So this comment that, they're basically not on the job hits home in some regards, too. So what is the status, set it out for us, of Thom Tillis right now?
Sure. So he's definitely still a senator. Tillis got into conflicts with Trump last year, and in June 2025, he chose not to run for a new term, but he didn't step down from the Senate. He's planning to stay as a senator until January 2027, which is the end of his current term. He is listed as a current member of the Senate on the Senate website, and he cast a vote as recently as the day before Trump spoke to Fox Business. So he is still a member of Congress.
And not only is he just, there in the Capitol, but because he's still in the Senate, Tillis is posing a challenge for the president at this point still.
Correct. So Tillis is a member of the Senate Banking, Housing, and Urban Affairs Committee, and that plays a key role in basically advancing the nomination for the next Fed chair, who is a guy named Kevin Warsh. And what Tillis has said is that he would block consideration of the next Fed chair until the Justice Department probe into the current Fed chair, Jerome Powell, is settled. So, the fact that he's still in the Senate means that he has some leverage there, and is something that Trump would have to deal with.
And I think some folks would look at this and say, who cares? It was just a misstatement. That happens all the time. He meant that he wasn't running for re-election, not still a U.S. senator. But you guys looked into this, and this is not the first time that President Trump has made this claim, right?
Yeah, first of all, the time that he said it basically a few days ago, he said it twice, and even despite some pushback from the interviewer. But also on January 30th, a few months ago, Trump was asked a similar question about Tillis and the Fed confirmation process. He said Tillis' stance on the Fed chair, quote, is why he's no longer a senator, which is pretty much what he said a few days ago as well. Although on January 30th, he went on to say, he's going to be out of office, which is somewhat less definitive. But based on what he said a couple days ago, we gave Trump's statement that Tillis is no longer a senator a rating of false.
All right, Lou Jacobson breaking it down for us. Lou, thank you.
Great, thank you.